We're recording. So everybody, we're going to learn the speed too today, okay? Well, I am aware that almost every single student in my class, they don't like those kind of question, right? So when I was
I
in
don't either.
nobody likes those kind of questions, okay? This chapter looks into more dynamic questions on speed. So as to let students gain valuable insight at a more advanced level, we often deploy the help of writing equations to solve these sophisticated problems. Okay, so the most important thing is I don't want you to give me the answer only. I want to see the equation. Without the equation, like everything is not going to be easy for yourself to check. Correct? Correct. If you want to check your answer with the equation will be much better, much easier. So let's take a look at the first one. Car A left to turn A for turn B. Car B left to turn B for turn A at the same time. The ratio of the speed of car A to the speed of car B was 3:2. Each continued with its journey after they met and made a U-turn upon arrival at their own destination. When they met the second time, it was 30 kilometers away from where they did the first time. How far was town B from town A? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. We don't know the speed of car A and car B, correct? Neither we don't know that the distance between town A to town B. It looks like something like the only true measurement we know it is like the second they meet is 30 kilometers away from where they did the first time. Correct, everybody? Okay, so this is for this question, obviously, we know we have to learn something. Earlier, we learned the ratio, right? Because we don't know exactly what it is, right, Oliver? But the thing is, if the speed of car A is 3x, obviously the speed of car B is 2x. The x could be any number, any real number, right? But the thing is, when they eliminate it, so they are simplify the fraction is 3:2. So let's take a look at this one. The question said, I want to divide, sorry, the solution said, I want to divide the distance. Please then, quiet. So we want to divide the distance into 5 parts. Why 5 parts? Not 6 parts, not 7 parts.
Because there's 5 parts total in the ratio.
Because the speed of car A and car B is 3:2. So with the same time, correct? Because they start at the same time. Get it? They start at the same time, everybody. So they start at the same time, so they must what? The distance they covered also should be the same ratio of 3:2, correct? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I'm not going to cover them into, you can cut them into 10 parts or 15 parts, but must be the multiple of 5. So that means when they first meet, car A traveled 3 parts and car B traveled 2 parts. Are we clear this part chapter? Okay, so now they kept going. Okay, so both of the car kept going, and the second time they met, I just want to ask you a very simple question. How many of the total distance does the car A did, and how many of the total distance did the car B did? Because they do the same thing with the same time. The car A's distance is still 3 times as 2 times of the car B, correct? Because they met. When they met, that means they traveled the same time. So then the second time they met, car A traveled 6 parts and car B traveled 4 parts. Correct? So if you take a look at this one, so this is the second time they meet. This is the first time they meet. And you can see they're exactly 2 parts apart. Correct? So because they are 30 kilometers is equals to the 2 parts. So you're just using 30 divided by 2 equals 15. So each of the unit is 15 kilometers. And we want to know the distance between A and B. That's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So that's why the distance will be 75 kilometers. Get it, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you understand, we're going to move forward. Okay, so car A. So I think this question we have learned there's something similar before. So I'm going to block the answer. So let's try to do this one yourself. Is that okay?哦，有些小朋友说了，Car A begins journey from town A towards town B, and Car B begins the journey from town B towards town A. So everybody, they are what? They are drawn. They're heading towards each other, right? Yeah, like yes. So C is a station in the middle of the two towns. Both cars continue their journey after A meets B 50 kilometers past station C. Okay, what does it mean? So there's a one thing we need to make sure here, okay? So it's A meets B 50 kilometers past station C. We know station C is in the middle, right? So that means I want to ask everybody a very important question, okay? So if A meet B here, right? So A is traveling how many kilometers more than B when they first meet? This is my first question. Is it 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers?
50.
想想看啊 ，Jason 说多少？Jason 觉得是 50。好，同意 Jason 的小朋友呢？那 Elaine 你觉得是多少？
50.
也是 50。OK。好，Oliver 你觉得呢？ Chapter, what is your thinking?
50.
So Daniel, what do you think?
Definitely not 50. If I said 50, Carrie's gonna ask me how did I get 50.
Okay,
So
so
I was
you're
so I
gonna
will say 150.
Okay, so Daniel said 150.那我们现在来猜一下好了，好吧？那小朋友们 so when you're not very sure about your answer, there's a very good way is what? Using some special numbers. For instance, I just assume A and B, the distance is 1,000. Can we do that? Of course. Maybe we just do easier number like 200, right? No, 300. Okay, easier number, 300. Okay, so A to C is what? If they meet in the middle at 150, but they are meeting at here, so obviously A has finished what? 200 kilometers, right? So B is finished what? 100 kilometers. So A minus B equals what when they first meet? 100.
100.
Okay, why everybody? Because A is doing A equals what? Mid plus 50. Correct, Oliver? And B equals what? Mid minus 50, correct? When you minus them, so mid minus mid equals nothing, and positive 50 minus negative 50 equals what? 100. Get it, everybody? Okay, so when they first meet, they are not, the A is not 50 kilometers more than B, is 100 kilometers more than B. Get it, everybody? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So sorry, so 我已经把这个弄掉了，我们就看了 ，OK? So car A then make U-turn upon reaching town B and catch up with town B 150 kilometers past the station. Okay, so if we let the distance be D, so car A has traveled distance divided by 2 plus 50 kilometers before meeting car B, correct? And car B is doing, so you can find out. If travels another D plus 100 kilometers when it catch up with B for the second time. So basically D plus 100 equals 2 times D over 2 plus 50. Okay, so car B has traveled D over 2 minus 50 when they first meet, right? But when they traveled 2 times, when they second meet each other, it's exactly this one times 2, right? So you know 2 times D over 2 minus 50 equals what? Exactly equals 200. So D equals 300 kilometers. 啊，我向大家保证啊，我没有偷看答案，我刚才就是随便选了一个数字，那刚好就是300，OK？我真的没有偷看答案，我没有偷看答案，OK？ So everybody, let's go over, okay? So let's take a look at this one. The circumference of a circular lake is 30 kilometers. Peter and Jane begin to cycle from the same point around the lake in opposite direction. 就是有一个圆，对不对？哎，我觉得 Elaine 怎么不动了？好像 Elaine 你在动吗？哦，刚才you frozen.
Oh,
Yeah, you're frozen. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. 有一个圆的跑道 okay, everybody, it's a circumference of a circular lake. 是一个圆形的球，不，圆形的 lake. It's a 湖，对不对 Oliver? It's a lake. So they are opposite doing each other, okay? So Peter's speed is 50 meters per minute, but he rests for 5 minutes after every 55 minutes of cycling. 还要休息一下的，对不对？每55分钟要休息5分钟。Jane's speed is 200 meters per minute, but he rests for 10 minutes after every hour cycling. 他跑1个小时要休息10分钟。Find the time taken for them to meet the first time. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. This circular is 30 kilometers, right? The circular lake, right? And everybody, I want you to make sure that you understand this one, the unit is totally different. 看到没有? So everybody, I want you to transfer them into from the meters minute to kilometers hour. Can you do it?
15 and 12
你要
kilometers
填错了，
per hour.
你不能偷看的啊。
I didn't though.
OK，哎呀，Oliver 也在吃东西了，可好吃了。没关系的，我们所有的小朋友一边吃饭一边上课一点都没关系的，只要认认真真上课就行了。Understand? I don't care about you doing anything. 你说我一边游泳一边上课，我也不介意的，好不好？
I don't think you'll be able to 认真听课的。
Yeah.
可能我就别的我倒不怕，我就怕电脑掉到水里坏掉了怎么办？
Just keep it on like some flat surface or it won't fall and then you can yeah.
然后夏天很热的时候，哎，我告诉你们啊，我以前看过一张图片，就是四川嘛，就很热的，对吧？夏天的时候，他们就是在水里面上课的呀，我看到，就是在水里面上课，差不多。
上数学课。
那我不知道，反正他们在水里面一天就，我觉得挺好玩的。Okay, so everybody, so we understood, right? It's 15 and 12 kilometers per hour, right? So let T be the time taken to meet. Okay, so 15 times 50 over 60. 为什么要50 over 60？小朋友知道吗？因为它
Because
because he only runs 55 minutes，对不对？他每一次只跑55分钟，对不对？好了，55 over 60 times t, 15 is the speed, right? So that's the distance traveled by Peter. So 12 times t plus 10 over 60, right, is the distance traveled by Jane. Okay, so if you plus them together, it should be what? It should be the circle, the distance of the circumference of the lake. Correct? So la-di-da, blah, 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 we plus and minus and multiplication and whatever. We will find out the number is 1 and a 9 over 103 hour. Okay, Elaine, 这样就可以了啊，不用把它换成什么 1 hour and 多少 minutes, because it's really hard to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm not a very horrible teacher. So when you give me the answer, this one is good enough. Understand? Chapter? Okay, just to give me the fraction. You don't have to, because some student, I have another class, so they do what? They do 9 over 103 and times 60. 我要做的累死了，知道吧？你们3分钟还是4分钟 ，it doesn't matter. Fraction is good enough. You don't have to do that. Okay, I'm a nice teacher. Okay, so now let's take a look at number 4. Who wants to read the question for me? Jason, you do it.
why me? Oh, fine. Peter was driving from his hometown to town X for business. If he increased the speed by 20%, he would arrive 1 hour ahead of schedule. If he drove at his planned speed for the first 120 kilometers before increasing it to 25%, he would arrive 40 minutes earlier. How far was town X?
Okay, so everybody try to do it.
Can you block the answer?
Oh, do.
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
sorry.
like you should block the answer.
Yeah.
Now I know the answer.
No. Nobody see anything at all, okay?
I agree.
有没有做好？要不要老师帮忙
Almost.
？OK，再给你们1分钟啊。Okay, so I'm going to just start to explain. Is it okay? 好不好？ Peter was driving from his hometown to town X for business. If he increased his speed by 20%, he would arrive 1 hour ahead of schedule. Do we know his schedule? No, we don't know that. But the thing is, you have to understand, if we speed up the speed by 20%, on the other way, if the distance is the same, are we going to affect it, the time? Just to give you some examples, okay? For instance, if the distance, if the distance is 20 kilometers, okay? So Oliver, if we are using, so 2 kilometers per hour, so obviously it takes 10 hours to arrive, right? But still 20 kilometers, and we're doing 4 kilometers per hour. So how much is it increasing? 100% increasing of the distance, right? So you can see it's 5 hours. Get it? So the thing is, the quicker, so this one times 2, and this one what? Divided by 2. Because distance is the same. Correct? Everybody? So if you have this one, that's the same thing. So you think about it. If Peter go to the hometown to town X, the distance can never be changed. 好，你不能说今天我到 town X 嘛是100公里，明天嘛变120公里。这个 town X 又不是 mobile 的，对不对？不是 moving 的，对不对？ It's not moving, so that's why there's always. So we don't know the distance, but we know the distance is always the same. So if the speed before is whatever, I don't care, it's times 1.2, 对不对？是不是 times 1.2? Increasing by 20%, 是不是 times 1.2? So the time will be what? Divided by 1.2. Am I right, everybody? So that means if before the time, we just say it's, right now, if it is X hours, so before is 1.2 hours. Sorry, 1.2x hours, correct? Taking Peter from hometown to town X. Correct, Jason? Correct chapter? Understood? Because you can't eat the Rx divided by 1.2 equals x, okay? So you have to understand 1.2x minus x equals what? 0.2x, right? So this 0.x exactly equals how many hours? 1 hour. Correct? So x equals what? X equals 5. That means now it takes 5 hours to go from his hometown to town X, and before it takes 6 hours. Get it, everybody? Okay, I'm gonna stop here, let you think about it.
How did you get 6 hours?
Because it's 5 plus 1 equals 6.
Where did you get 5?
Because it's 1.2x minus x equals 0.2, right? 0.2x equals 1 hour. So x equals 5. 0.2x equals 1 hour. So x equals 1 divided by 0.2 equals 5.
Okay.
Get it, everybody? Okay, so based on that, how about you do the next part yourself? If he drove at his planned speed for first 120 kilometers before increased it by 25%, he would arrive 40 minutes earlier. And how far was Ton X? We have already know that. Yeah, you全弄出来了。
I didn't hear the entire thing what you said.
Okay, good. Okay, you didn't hear what I said?
Yeah.
Do you want me to,
like-
do you want me to explain?
Like after you said like 6, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, right now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
OK，我用耳机吧，我用耳机。现在有没有好？有没有听得清楚一点？OK，好，很好。那个你们如果听不清楚，马上跟老师说啊。OK，so now we're moving the next part, the tenth part. If he drove at his planned speed for the first 120 kilometers, and before increasing by 25%. OK，哎呀，这边太多，哎，算了，就这样吧。OK，so the original speed to new speed is what? Original speed is 100%, and the faster speed increasing to 25%. 是不是就是 100% to 125%? Am I right, everybody? Okay, so if you simplify it, it will be 4 to 5. If the speed is 4 to 5, then the time will be 5 to 4. Do you understand, everybody? It's always backwards. But Chapter and Daniel, you have to remember, okay? This one only happened when the distance is the same. Elaine, 如果 distance is not the same, then you cannot using this formula. Get it? Okay. So because they're using 5 to 4, so you know there's 1 unit differences, right? Okay. But this unit is actually equals to what? 40 minutes, which is AKA 2 over 3 hours. Okay, so the 5 unit will be 10 over 3, and 4 unit, of course, will be 8 over 3. So we know all together they planned, 在前面那一半我们已经知道了, so all planned hour is 6 hours, right? So minus 10 over 9, 10 over 3, that means that is the time they spend on the first 120 kilometers, because that 120 kilometers, he used the planned speed, or AKA we can say original speed, right? So that's why the speed of the left one is 120 divided by 8 over 3 equals 45. So the distance is 45 times 6 equals 210.
Are you speaking?
Yeah? No, I'm not. I'm just asking
Oh.
you. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, anybody want to ask any questions? Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. 我觉得这道题我可喜欢，你看画的好可爱，然后还有个山，还有个小车。那，Jason 你在干嘛？哦
No
，Jason
answer.
哦，sorry，Jason 谢谢，Jason 是个好孩子。等一下，但是这个图可以给看的吗？那 picture 可以被看的，对不对？这个小图画可以看。好，现在让那个谁帮我读一下题目。Elaine 帮我读一下题目。
I was once driving toward a valley in a foreign land. When I honked the car, I heard the echo 6 seconds later. I wondered how far I was from the valley the moment I honked. The car was moving at a constant speed of 108 kilometers per hour. I understand the speed of sound is 340 meters per second.
So can we do that? "这个题目是跟这个生活有关系的啊，就是你 actually 可以 by counting the echo is just to try to find out the distance between you and the valley. Do you understand? Because the speed of the sound is determined. We all know that the speed of the sound. Get it, Oliver? But the thing is, you have to calculate the sound go to the valley and the sound back to you. And also you need to calculate it during this time, Daniel and chapter, your car is also moving. Understand, everybody?
Is it okay if I turn the speed of the car into seconds instead of sound?
肯定必须呀 Very good. You must turn it. Very good, Jason. Good job.
For the sound, does it need to hit the valley before echoing back?
不是那个 sound 就是先 sound 就过去嘛，然后你碰到 valley 以后，它 hit the valley then back 嘛，
Oh, okay.
对不对啦？就是我们
Yeah,
所有的
no.
声音，对啊，如果就是 Jason，如果其实我们的声音都是通过这个传播，然后它反弹过来，然后才回到我们的耳朵里的，对不对？
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at this one, okay? I honked the car. I heard the echo 6 seconds later. Okay, so I wonder how far I was from the valley the moment I honked. The car was moving at the constant speed of 180 kilometers per hour. So Daniel, can you tell me what is the speed of this car if I want to transfer them into the meter by second? How do we do it? So first you transfer them into 108,000 meters, right? And divided by what? Chapter? So now it's per hour, right? So transfer into second. So 1 hour equals how many seconds?
60.
3,016. 3,600. Chapter. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. And 1 minute equals 60 seconds. So that's why 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So basically, you're using this one divided by this one. Correct, Jason? Correct, Elaine? Correct, Oliver? Correct, Chapter? Correct, Daniel? Am I right? Okay, so basically there are 30 meters per second. Correct? 没人算啊，对不对？
Wait, actually, isn't it 108,000 meters per hour?
Yeah, per hour. Yeah, that's kilometers, right? So I want to transfer into the second per meters. Elaine? 对吗？
Yeah, but aren't you dividing some meters per hour over meters per second?
Yeah, so I first transfer this 108 kilometers into meters. So it's 108,000 meters, right? Then I divide it by 3,600. Then I transfer to this one. So this one's for this car speed is 30 meters per second.
Okay.
Okay. So now I know the speed of the sound is 340. So let's take a look at this one, okay? So the moment I said, ah, I honked the one. So it goes there. For instance, I said that the distance between this car and the valley is d, okay? So this d, for instance, takes, so d divided by 30, sorry, d divided by 340, right? 我的笔又不能用。So d divided by 300, 我就这样吧, okay? So the traveled is 180 meters altogether. Correct, everybody? 我的笔写不了，对不对? So because the car heard honk the honk, not honk the honk, honk the car, then 6 seconds later, he heard back the echo. So altogether, for this 6 seconds, this car all traveled 108 meters. Don't you agree with me?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. The car will be distance minus distance divided by 340 times 180 away from the valley after 6 seconds. Do you understand what does it mean? Because 180 is the distance this car traveled, right? And the d over 340 is what? Is how much time for this, what is the distance between that? 他过去的时候他花了多长时间，对不对？是不是他过去的时候他花了多长时间？ So this is speed, this is this distance. So distance divided by speed equals time. So that means when the sound goes to the valley, the car has finished how much thing? Because 这个3秒钟，这个6秒钟里面有3点几秒它是走到这里的，还有2点几秒它是走在这里。So I want to calculate what is this distance. And I use the whole distance minus it. The car will be that meter away from the valley after 6 seconds. The car and the sound meet at 6 minus d over 340 seconds later. So d minus d over 340 times that. So that's why the long distance, the distance per hour equals 160 d over 340. So that's why the right hand sound is 6 minus d over 340 times 520. So equate again. So that's why you find out the d equals 1,560. The calculation is just a fraction. I'm not going to spend time to explain this one, but you just understand how we get the equation one by one. Okay. Okay, so the thing is, because you need to understand when the echo is back, you need to find out exactly when is the car get stopped. When does the car get the value? Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the question number 1. Okay, a car and a truck left for town A 1,000 kilometers away at different time. Oh yeah. Remember, there's a very, very important thing, which is not a good sign, at different time. The car began its journey when the truck has traveled 200 kilometers already. That means the car is later than the truck. When the car arrived at the town A, the truck had 200 meters more to go. So everybody, when you see this one, you obviously can make sure that maybe cars traveled a little bit quicker than the truck, right? At which point did the car catch up with the truck? Okay, 什么时候这个 car 把这个 truck 追上 ？Okay, everybody take a look. .会做吗，小朋友们？你想想看啊 ，so the distance they're doing like it's 1,000 kilometers away. You already know like the distance, right? So it's 1,000. Okay, when the truck is doing 200, correct? 好，然后这个时候 car 在这儿，对不对？然后 truck 在这儿，对不对，小朋友们？要把图画出来，对不对？好了，然后走了，对吧？好了 ，car 走了，然后继续走。我走到这儿的时候，他追上他了，对不对？然后继续走。你们想一想，这个 car 已经全部完成了，这个 truck 还有200 kilometers away. So what is the total distance does this truck do?
600.
Very good. What is the total distance does the car did?
1000.
1000. Very good. OK, 好了，我们知道了。If the distance of the ratio is 1000 to 600, that's car to truck. Can you tell me what is the ratio of the speed?
Is it
同样的
5 to 3?
Very good. Still 1000 to 600. And if you simplify it, it's 5 to 3. Understood, everybody? OK, 说明这个车比卡车开得快呀，对不对 ？OK，好了，那你知道了。那他们两个人的速度，一个是 5，一个 3，那很简单。So all you need to do is calculate what? It takes how much time does car to catch up with truck? Then why car can truck need to catch up with truck? Because truck is 200 kilometers ahead of them. Correct? So all I need to do is 200 divided by 5 minus 3. Right? So equals 100. That is a per unit of the hour. So how many hours they're going to catch up with this one? So 100 times 5 equals 500. 在500公里的时候 car catch up with truck because you can calculate it. Car travel 500公里的时候这个 truck travel 多少 ?300，对不对？好了，你看200 plus 300 equals 500 and 100 times 5 equals 500. So 500 equals 500. So that's why they catch up at when they're 500. Get it, Oliver? Okay, chapter? Daniel? Jason? Okay, so we're done. 要不要老师再说一遍？不用，要就是没关系，我再说一遍好了。不用，OK， so 没有人啊，那就 number 2了 ，OK。好 ，number 2, I want Oliver read the question for me.
Town A is 300 km away from Town B. Car leaves Town A for Town B, but Car B leaves Town B for Town A at the same time. 2 hours later, Car is 50 km away from Car B for the first time. Suppose they begin their journey at 0800 H and keep making U-turns after arriving at their destination, at which point out of the two cars are 50 km apart for the 5th time.
This isn't a real race, you know.
Okay. Do you need me to help you to draw the picture? 要不要画一个图帮你们？我怎么画不出来？ 道题目跟我们以前做过的题目都不太一样啊。So they don't meet. Correct, Jason? Correct, Oliver? They don't meet. They are 50 meters away. 对不对啊？这个有点奇怪，对不对？ Okay, but my question is, if we know this distance is 50, can we know for the first time they meet, what is their combined speed? So what is the speed of A plus speed of B? So this is thing I think you can find out. What is the speed of A and speed of B plus together? I don't know separately, but I know plus them together. So 你看啊 so 2 hours later, car A is 50 kilometers from car B. So altogether, it's 300 kilometers. So the speed of them is 300 minus 50 divided by 2. Am I right, everybody?
125.
Thank you. 125 kilometers. Am I right? Correct? 这个是不是很简单呀？对不对？ Okay, so suppose they begin their journey at 8 o'clock and make U-turns after arriving at the destination, at which point are the two cars 50 kilometers apart for the fifth time? 好了，我来问大家一下，我们不看 car B 好不好？我们只看 car A. We only see car A. 一次、两次、三次、四次、五次。是不是他每完成一个 A to B or B back to A, they're gonna have the chance to be 50 kilometers away from car B. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, and for the total distance, because car A is always a little bit more than the thing. So it's always, so can we do it? Because they're always 50 kilometers away. So can I do is 4 times 300? Because I know there are 4 of them, they finished. But because they're always 50 apart, so can I do 50 times 5? Correct, because there's distance there. They're not counting. 他们刚刚完全碰到. They're counting how many times they are 50 kilometers away. So I can only count 4 of the total distance and plus the 5 of the 50. So the total distance they traveled should be 1,450. So divided by what? Divided by 125, because that is the total distance of car A and B. This is the total distance car A, B drives. So that's why they equals 11.6 hours. So they are 50 kilometers apart from the 50 time. So you're just using what? 11.6 就是什么？11个小时又36分，对不对？11 hours and 36 minutes. So you plus 8 hours, so equals 19 and 36. 就是晚上7点36分的时候 they are exactly 5th time 50 kilometers away from each other. Get it？好，我再跟大家说一下这个什么意思啊？这个什么意思？0800 Oliver, Chapter, Daniel, Elaine, and Jason. That means they start at 8 o'clock. 早上8 o'clock. Understand? 如果你是晚上8 o'clock, 它是 it's 20:00 hour 是这样表示。Okay, so in math, that's how they calculate it. Some people tell you, oh, they start at 8 o'clock, like 8:00. Some people is not like that. Got it?
I don't like the 0800 thing. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing, but the
Just
good
throw
thing.
8.
对呀，对呀，那每个人他每道题目都有不同的讲法，但你们在学的时候每个都学好了嘛？那上课的时候，到时候在考试的时候就不怕了，对不对？Okay, number 3. Mark and Nick were both going to a public library after school. Mark walked at a speed of 80, and he walked at 70 meters per minute, and the other half of the time. Nick walked at the 80 meters per minute for the first half of the journey. He walked at the 70 meters per minute for the remaining journey. Who arrived at the library first?
Isn't this, don't they arrive at the same time? Don't they?
Yeah, 他们 both going to the public library after school. 一起走的呀。
Yeah, but don't they run or walk at the same time?
Yeah, they
Or
walk
is
at
that
the
just
same
me?
time. The same time, but
Yeah.
Mark worked at the speed of 80 meters, half of the time. 他一半的时间用80米每分钟，剩下一半的时间用70米每分钟。但是 Nick 是 work half of the journey. That's the same. That's not the same thing, Jason. 一个是 half of the time, 一个是 half of the distance, 一个是 half of the time. It's totally different. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No worry.
Well, Mark first, whatever.
想一想，这有什么区别啊？就 Jason，我给大家分析一下，我跟大家说一下，就比如说我有一个100米，对不对？好了，我每分钟原来是走10米每秒钟的，OK？那是不是 Elaine 我10秒钟就能走完了？啊，不对，我要用20，我用难一点的不要用这个数字啊，200和40好了，so 40 meters per second，OK？好了，50 meters per 40. So the distance is if you do the half time. 那 half time，比如说我本来做完是不是走完这个不是一共4分钟嘛，对不对？4 minutes 走完，对不对？Because I'm 4 minute。那我用一半的时间增加了，so it's using 2 minutes. I'm using 40 meters per minute, and another half of the time I'm using 80 meters per minute. 那你看就完全不一样了，它完全的时间就不一样，因为它不是一半一半。The distances you can cut the distance into half, but if you're using the time is 2 minutes using 40, 那你这里你只走了80，剩下的120我们就60好了，这个太时间了。So 60的话，我用了3分钟，是这样子，看到没有？ So when you have the time to have the differences, then the what? The distance is not the half, but distance and half, the time is not the half. Understand, Jason? 哎呦，这个怎么写的像？怎么这么乱？字写的好丑呀！当时给别的小朋友的妈妈看到说啊，你们怎么字写的这么难看？后来一看，老师字也写的这么难看，老师带头字写的难看。Okay, so everybody, when we're doing those questions, let me just give you a trick, okay? You can just name the variable, or you can just a special number to do that. Why you're doing special number is because, 80 meters per minute and 70 meters per minute, okay? And it works at, Nick worked 80 meters per minute for the first half of the journey, and he worked 70 meters. So if I just assume that the distance will be the multiplication of 560, don't you think that will be easier for us to calculate? Because 560 could be divisible by 70 and 80, correct? So in case of, because there are like two people, so I just using 1120 meters. I suppose that's a distance from A to B. Do you understand how I get it? So, okay, so 1120 is exactly 2 times of the 560. Okay, so time taken by Nick is 1120 divided by 2, right? Times 1/70, because you divide by, that's a distance, that's divided by, or you, if you want, I don't want, 我们写的更清楚一点, 1120 divided by 2 divided by 70, right? That's the time divided by Nick, and 1120 divided by 2 divided by 80, correct? Because half of the distance Nick using 70 meters per minute, and half of the distance Nick using 80 meters per minute, correct, everybody?
Isn't half of the time though?
No, I'm talking about Nick, not Mark.
Oh,
Yeah, Nick 比较简单嘛，我们先看 Nick. Right, everybody? So let's talk about Mark. So you can calculate the Nick takes how much time? 15 minutes. 啊，不行，你们自己算一下。我每次都不算，我不算，你自己算一下。Okay, so equals what? 没有，我没算错吧？是不是啊？是不是15分钟？ Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So this question is not asking you who exactly arrived at the library exactly the time, but they said what? Who arrived at the library first? Correct, everybody? Okay, so I'm not going to, because it's very hard to know that how much time does Mark spend, because Mark spent half of the time on 80 and half of time on the 70, 对不对？我怎么知道他的时间是多少？ But I can just increase, I can just double the distance and divide it by 70 plus 80. Do you understand what I'm doing? 本来是把一半的时间去除以70，对不对？去乘以70，对不对？加上一半的时间去乘以80，等于1120，对不对？ But I don't know exactly what is half of the time. How about just double the distance and I calculate, then I know the total time of Mark. So total time also Mark is this one, it is 12240 over 150. So the answer is 14.93. So because this one is smaller than 15. So that's why Mark arrives earlier than Nick. 这个东西一定要学会啊，这个非常重要 ，OK? It is impossible for us to find out exactly Mark used how much time. 你再想一想 Elaine, 它用14.93秒14分9 14 minutes and 93 seconds 14.93 minutes 的这个一半的时间用来70米每分钟，这个东西的一半用来80， it's almost impossible for us to calculate this one and waste a lot of time, 对不对？ We can do that. We can just say, okay, suppose Mark using m minutes. So m divided by 2 times 70 plus m divided by 2 times 80 equals 1120. You're going to find out the same answer. But this one, including a lot of bigger calculations. But instead, you can see this exactly the same. It's 70m divided by 2 plus 80m divided by 2 equals 1120. So both times 2, so it's 150m equals 2,240. So m equals 2,240 divided by 150. Understand? You're using the algebra, get the same thing. But I want you to understand this one as well. It's because if you don't know exactly what is a half of them, but in half of the time, he finished 1,120 meters. So we can double that so in order to calculate it, how much it is. Because on the denominator, I also plus the two speed together. Understood, Jason? OK, 这个讲得很清楚了，对不对？老师怎么讲得这么好呀？简直不敢相信。OK, OK, 最后一道题 ，Chapter, your turn to read the question for me.
An escalator at a shopping mall ascends at a constant rate. Lenny walks up the moving escalator at a speed of 40 steps per minute. Marie walks up the moving escalator at a speed of 20 steps per minute. They arrive at the second floor at respective times of 2 and 3 minutes. How many steps has the escalator?
Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Okay, everybody, 1 minute. And after that, I'm going to explain it. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Okay, so everybody, do you know what is escalator? 就是在这个里面这个手电动扶梯，对不对? It's not an elevator. So escalator is exactly having the steps, right? So they're moving up with a constant rate and moving down with a constant rate as well. So Lenny walks up the moving escalator at a speed of 40 steps per minute. Okay, 他自己也在走。And Marie walks up the moving escalator at the speed of 20 steps per minute. So that means Marie is half of the speed of Lenny, right? So they arrived at the second floor at the respective time at 2 and 3 minutes. 什么意思啊？就是 Lenny 用了2分钟 Marie 用了3分钟 correct? Okay, how many steps had the escalator have? 这道题目有些小朋友说，这个很简单呀，一个40乘以2啊，一个20乘以3呀。 那他们做的是一个 escalator，怎么会一个是80个 steps，一个是60个 steps 呢？那肯定不对，对不对？Okay, so why Lenny? So it's 40 times 2 equals 80. That's no problem. That's right. So Lenny is 40 times 2 equals 80 steps. And Marie is 30 times 2 equals 60. But why, Elaine, let me ask you, 为什么这两个人做的自动扶梯好像不是一个的 ？Why?
Because they did it at different speeds.
The reason is because Lenny doing really quick. 那 escalator 自己往上走的那段时间是不是就少了呀？ So basically, you can 80, you need to plus what? 2 times the speed of escalator itself. Should equals to what? 60 plus 3 times x, which is the escalator, the speed itself. Understand, Oliver? 对不对？因为你在往上走的时候，这个 escalator at the same time also moving forward with you together. But because Lenny did really quick, so the escalator only helped him for 2 minutes. And the Marine do it later, so escalator helped her for only 3 minutes, more than that. So that's why you can do 20 equals x. So the escalator altogether is 80 plus 40 equals 120, or you can do 60 plus 3 times 20 equals 120 steps as well. Understand? 啊，这个题目很像什么？就是有一条小船在水里面游，对不对？啊，它如果溺水的时候，它需要减去这个水流的速度，但是它顺水的时候需要加上水流的速度。如果水是平静的 still water, you don't have to add any water of the water speed, any speed of the water speed. Correct?
What if it was a broken escalator?
哦哇 broken escalator 那就不用加它的了，对不对？就是只有它自己往上跑的那个速度。Yeah, you're right, Elaine, because I always look at 我去那个一些 shopping center, sometimes they have the broken escalator 都要自己走的，而且那个很累的，因为那个 escalator 很高的，对不对？每一级 ，it's really, really high. 对，我不喜欢那个。Okay, so everybody, that's it for today's class. So, be careful. You need to just to do one question by one question is draw the picture and just to do everything little by little. Understood? Okay, 啊，我觉得我这样子好像一只老虎呀。Okay, so everybody, that's it for today's class. We're going to see each other next week. Okay, bye-bye.